Morning, everyone. Welcome to Hampton Downs. New day, new beginnings, and we set off for qualifying for our Castrol Toyota Racing Series. I'm Jonathan Green, and the cars are on track, so we welcome you around the world tuning in on our live feed, and we welcome you to Hampton Downs if you're here in the crowd today. A little bit cooler, in fact a lot cooler than we've had in the last few days, and it's good to have a little bit of a cool down and everybody just taking a step back after what was a dramatic hot day yesterday afternoon with a lot of crashes, a lot of incidents and a lot of red flags. What I can tell you is out of the mess, if you will, out came Artem Petrov with his first ever win in TRS. The Russian, following in the footsteps of our current champion Robert Schwartzman, taking a victory and putting himself in a championship contention. Peter Petacek of the Czech Republic took second place, and New Zealand's very own Brendan Leach took third. Dev Gore got his best result of his first season here, took fourth place. Raoul Hyman fifth, Petru Florescu sixth. Liam Lawson was demoted to seventh place when the dust settled. Jack Walls was eighth. Parker Locke got into ninth position, a first top 10 for him. Marcus Armstrong passed under yellow. He was given a penalty. He dropped down to 10th place. Kazuto Kataka, who was the cause of many of those incidents, was 11th. And the final finisher was Thomas Smith in 12th position. DNFs for Esteban Muth, Cameron Dass, Lucas Auer, and Callan Williams of Australia. And that means that coming into this qualifying session, Liam Lawson leads the championship by a very small margin of just 3 points over New Zealand's Marcus Armstrong. Raoul Hyman now in third place with 91 points. Brendan Leach is at the top of the board early on, 102.9. And Esteban Muth is right there with him. Callan Williams, everybody looking for a decent time. Brendan Leach currently fourth in the championship now with 88 points, just 3 behind Raoul Hyman. So now, folks, the championship has come alive after the results of yesterday, because it's close, it's tight, and as we go into 3 races here at Hampton Downs, it's all or nothing. The halfway stage of the series coming up, Taupo and Manfield, and the mighty Manfield will, of course, be a part of the New Zealand Grand Prix yet again. So there's still plenty up for grabs and plenty of racing still to come. This qualifying session will decide the grid for the first race of today, and then we have 2 races tomorrow and qualifying tomorrow morning for the feature race, where they race for the historic New Zealand Motor Cup. Looking at Esteban Muth, who was the cause of one of the crashes at turn 4 yesterday, the young Belgian, and we saw the onboards, and yeah, he just got into trouble, and I think he had some trouble with the rear, trouble with the front, locked it up, didn't really know where he was going, sadly, and ended up in the gravel trap, and spoke to him afterwards. The Straka Racing driver, ooh, sliding there out of 4, but he's okay. Everybody looking for position. Here's Marcus Armstrong. It's been an up and down day for him. We saw him in the press conference last night. He's been keeping in touch with his Ferrari Academy drivers who are all doing fitness back in Europe, but they're watching the races, so we welcome you. Et al. Ferrari tuning in. Mick Schumacher, our current champion, Robert Schwartzman, of course. And now Marcus Armstrong flying the flag. Here's Liam Lawson, involved in that crash with Cameron Dass yesterday. The young 16-year-old has been certainly making the news headlines in the last few weeks here in New Zealand. Currently leading the championship by just 3 points, having had victories at Highlands, on the podium at Teretonga, and then a 7th place yesterday here at Hampton Downs. Number 16, that's Thomas Smith from Australia. He got involved and got into an accident with Lucas Auer at turn 4 right here yesterday, and obviously they've been doing a lot of fixing of the cars overnight, but Thomas is back out and running. Car number 5 is Petru Florescu, being looked after by Mick Kouros of Australia and Fortec, and so good man in his corner, but he, like many of them, coming to TRS for the first time. Not a lot of time in qualifying, 8 minutes to go in this session. And Marcus Armstrong hasn't yet put down a proper marker for his qualifying, and it's Liam Lawson with a 1:00.573, the fastest man out there. Lawson with that pole of 1:00.573. But interestingly enough, it's the F3 champion from Australia, former F3 champion from Australia, Callan Williams, right there with him, with just a couple of tenths off him. Lucas Auer is up there, bouncing back. The Austrian needs a result, does Lucas. He's still in the hunt, but he's had an up and down start. He had a crash at Highlands, and obviously 2 crashes yesterday, which did not help his cause at all. Raoul Hyman currently in 5th place behind Brendan Leach. Artem Petrov in the top 3 already, and this could be what Artem Petrov needs after that win yesterday. And remember, he was on the podium at Teretonga too. So Petrov has been quietly going about his business, as has Raoul Hyman. Hyman's problem has been the qualifying. He had old tyres at Teretonga, qualified 11th, made it all the way up to 4th position, 3rd for a moment, and then went off track on the very last lap, and that lost him several places, knocking him down to 11th again. But he has proved, without a doubt, that he's fast, and if he can get a qualifying out of this, and he's on his way to do so, Raoul Hyman will be the man to watch. 3rd in the championship at the moment. But it's Armstrong who just goes quicker, 1:00.252. Marcus Armstrong hits the front ahead of his arch rival. Locking up there is Marcus. So now he is pushing for sure as he comes through 4. We're looking at the number 8, the Auckland City Toyota man. And it's been a rough and tumble start to the season, but Marcus keeping his head and certainly doing the business on the track, because he's gone 3 tenths quicker than Lawson, his teammate. All racing for M2 competition, and that was the problem yesterday. It was the teammates who were tangling. Somehow Armstrong avoided both his teammates Lawson and Das as they crashed into each other, and was able to cross the line, but he was penalised too, passed under a yellow and knocked down to 10th place. So every man on this grid has a reason to want to go quick. Marcus Armstrong on the move. Cameron Das with work to do. He's almost a second off the pace at the moment, still brushing the cobwebs away from that big crash. A 1:00.093. Armstrong going quicker again. Petr Petacek going to 2nd. Callan Williams dropping to 3rd, and Lawson dropping to 4th. Still 5 minutes to go, and under the 5-minute line is when we're expecting the fast laps to come. Put on a new set of boots perhaps, and away you go. 54, Callan Williams, involved in an incident with Kotaka yesterday, down the back straight, hitting the wall quite hard, and you can see the car in fine fettle low now. So there's been a lot of work by the engineers and mechanics overnight, keeping an eye on this qualifying time. But it's Armstrong, Muth, your provisional front row. Muth going his quickest time with a 1:00.317. Armstrong going quicker again, but he hasn't got under the 1-minute mark yet. These cool conditions could get us into the 59s if we're lucky. Armstrong's done that already in the weekend. And there's the number 9, Petr Petacek of the Czech Republic. Not too many Czechs. Thomas Eng, I think, is the last one I remember making it all the way. And he's determined to be a Czech in the hot seat for Formula One if he can pull it off. Right now, though, provisionally, it's a front row of Marcus Armstrong and Esteban Muth. Row 2 sees Liam Lawson and Artem Petrov. And then Petacek, the man we were just looking at a moment ago. Now, will we see some teamwork here? Auer with Armstrong behind him, maybe just get a slingshot past Lucas Auer, the number 22 Austrian. 2 incidents yesterday. He got a great start yesterday, round the outside from position 2 on the grid. And now you see Armstrong winding himself up maybe for a little slingshot past Lucas. Certainly they're working together. Lucas ahead of him as they dive through turn 1. But Lucas Auer, very disappointed after his start yesterday. Had a quick chat with him. Didn't understand why he got hit in the first incident, and then he was hit again by Tommy Smith. And so it's been a tough weekend so far for Lucas Auer. A lock-up big time there by the number 9 of Peter Petacek. Wanted to do motocross as a kid, but his mum was not so keen on that. She said, nah, 2 wheels. I prefer you on 4. So off he went to do karting. And the rest is history, as they say, because he's come through the ranks and is now in this world-class field. Keeping an eye on where Lucas can finish. Lucas currently in, what, 6th, 7th position. Leach with work to do too. Cameron Dass has moved up. He's gone a 1:00.602, but they're all still chasing Marcus Armstrong. 2 minutes to go, just over. Certainly enough time to put another lap in, but it's Armstrong they're chasing at the moment. That 1:00.090, the best time so far, just ahead of Raoul Hyman, who's moved up the board and is on the provisional front row, and that will make things really interesting for the first race here today. Raoul Hyman ragging the tyres to death here with a 1:00.08 last time out. Lawson right there on the second row, and Petrov likewise. This is what we want. The guys leading the championship are right in the hot seat. And Raoul Hyman currently on 91 points and 3rd in the championship, but Brendan Leach only 3 points behind him. Raoul just looking for some clean air. You'll see them slow down and don't want to get into traffic. Give themselves a little bit of run up to the sweeper. As we look at Dev Gore from the United States, born in Oklahoma City, grew up most of his life in Seattle, and now lives and resides in Atlanta, Georgia. So he's had a varied career. He raced in America, raced in Europe, raced for Carlin as well, just as Cameron Dass has done. So they've certainly been part of some big teams. And of course, Marcus Armstrong racing for the mighty Prima Italian team with a star-studded cast of drivers on the way up. So then, the clock ticks down. We're a minute away from ending this session, and Marcus Armstrong has got into the 59s, a 59.9 by Marcus Armstrong. So Armstrong is taking it to the rest of the field here, the man from Christchurch, the 18-year-old. The only man to drop under 1 minute. Raoul Hyman still second, Liam Lawson still out and looking to improve on his time. Lucas Auer has moved up to 4th place. I knew he'd show, the number 22. No real surprises, perhaps. The big surprise is Kotaka, who was involved in a couple of incidents yesterday, further down the pack than he'd shown in previous practices. But it's Armstrong leading the way now, a 59.944, locking up every which way. He is pushing that machine to its limit. Loves Hampton Downs. Somebody's gone off into the dust there, but I think has recovered. No cars in the gravel. And we watch Armstrong. Can he go even quicker? Racing against himself in many ways, but after a not shaky start, a consistent start, but beaten by Liam Lawson. He's recovered well as Marcus, defended so well at Taratanga against the onslaught of Lawson. And now I think he's in the box seat to take control of things and show why Ferrari believe he could be a Formula One star of the future. The checkered flag is out, and we await to see if Armstrong can improve. He comes across the line now. Will anybody go faster? It's Armstrong, 59.9. Hyman on the front row. Lawson still 3rd. Callan Williams still 4th. Lucas Auer drops to 5th. Good qualifying by the Australian Callan Williams. Really good stuff by the man from Perth. That's his best qualifying to date, and that puts him amongst the leaders. He's improved dramatically. Lucas Auer settles for 5th. Petrov settles for 6th. Esteban Muth is 7th. Then Peter Petacek is in 8th. Brendan Leach 9th. Further down, Dev Gore, disappointment for him. Parker Locke and Thomas Smith round out the field of 16. But it's all Marcus Armstrong, the only man to get into the 59s in that session. And he has laid down his marker for those chasing. And it could be a really interesting day at the races here at Hampton Downs. We welcome you from wherever you've come. And if you're watching on the live stream, stay with us. More to come. We've got a live race coming up later today, and of course two races tomorrow, including that feature race, which will be a longer race in terms of laps. But right now, Marcus Armstrong, Hyman Lawson, and Callan Williams. That's your top 4 in qualifying here from Hampton Downs.